Do you have those relationships in your life that just flourish? They're awesome. You love the people that you're with and they're fantastic. And do you have relationships in your life where you struggle? You just can't connect with that other person. It's just like all the time. Well, in today's episode, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. What is it and why you need to understand it better? Stick around. Welcome in, everybody. Alex Swire-Clark, emotional intelligence expert, human behavior expert. I'm an expert at everything except getting digital graphics in my picture where they're supposed to be. Anyway, award-winning speaker, author, and if you've been on my channel, you know all those things already. Today, we're discussing emotional intelligence, what it is, why it's important, and what's going on with that. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe below so you never miss any of the content that we're providing. We have podcasts and other things out here that we push into the YouTube channel, and those are always great for you to be able to enjoy. So again, like and subscribe. Oxford describes emotional intelligence as the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. That's a mouthful, so let me break it down in simplest terms from my perspective, and that is that emotional intelligence is all about understanding yourself. What's the lens that you give and receive information through? That piece of the puzzle. Secondly, understanding others. That's social awareness. Being able to understand that I may be different than someone else. Now, I may not understand it yet, but that's the social awareness piece. And then step 3 is being able to adapt your behavior to meet others where they are. Because if we can adapt our behavior, that's when the magic happens in relationships. So Oxford begins their definition by saying self-awareness. In other words, being aware of your emotions. And what is that self-awareness piece? Well, it starts with who you are inside. It's your personality, it's your temperament. What's the way that you're wired? How are you wired? What is it that gives you energy on a daily basis? What drains you? What kind of people give you energy? What kind of people drain you on a daily basis? What kinds of activities motivate you? And what kinds of activities are like, oh, I never want to do those things again. They're awful. So all those things compile into that self-awareness piece. And once we understand ourselves better and that lens that we give and receive information through on a daily basis, then we really can begin to move our circle outward and start to understand others better. The second piece that Oxford talks about is control, controlling our emotions. So that starts with what triggers us. What is it that sets us off? Is it a screaming child? Is it your boss that's fussing at you at work? Is it not enough hours in the day to get your things done? Is it not being able to spend time with your friends or your family? So those things matter in the global perspective of the triggers that we have. Those are very, very much the negative emotions that we can feel, and being in touch with those and being aware of what triggers us. Second thing is what makes us happy. How are we gaining energy from our environment? Is it from playing board games, going outside and running? Is it a quiet book, just to read by ourselves? Is it getting tons of things done in a day and feeling like a sense of accomplishment? Is it just being with other people? There is no right or wrong answer because everyone is a unique blend of personality traits, but you have to figure out what it is that makes you happy. Again, we've already talked about triggers. And if we can combine those two things, now we have very much a full understanding of who we are as people. And once we understand who we are, then we can start moving on to others. Our responsibility is affected by our ability to respond. Let me repeat that one more time. Our responsibility is affected by our ability to respond. If we can't respond appropriately in our environment, in the various situations that we face on a daily basis, from stresses and from successes, then we leave ourselves open to miscommunication, hurt feelings, and resentment. So if we want to avoid those, we've got to have that understanding that we need to control our actions. We can control our ability to respond. As I tell my children all the time, the only thing we can control are our attitudes and our actions. If we can control our attitudes and actions, then we've got a good sense of respondability, and that gives us a greater sense of personal responsibility. And the final thing that Oxford mentions is expression of those emotions. So how do we respond when we're triggered? How do we respond when we're happy? Can we adapt our behavior to meet others where they are? If you're a high D style, can you respond under stress with compassion? If you're a high I style, can you slow down and focus on the facts when you're under pressure? If you can, you're expressing your emotions with adaptability, and you'll be building better relationships one encounter at a time. And that's all we can affect, is the one person that we see on the plane or the bus or at work or at the Y or wherever we are. So again, to wrap up, Oxford's definition is all about self-awareness, control, and expression of our emotions. And again, it starts with that self-control piece. So once we understand that self-awareness, then we can start moving to social awareness, which is other people. And then we can start adapting our behavior and expressing those emotions in a positive way. Again, if you're enjoying this content on the channel, please hit the subscribe button below, like this video. We're trying to build the channel as best we can, and we appreciate all of your support. Also, I put a link below in the description to a PDF that is the top 5 frequently asked questions that I get when I'm doing talks around the country. And so I've answered those questions. And so if you look in the description below, you'll find a link to that PDF. Just head over there. That'll be some great value again from this video as well as from the PDF. So thanks for watching today. We appreciate it. See you next time.